While there's still construction here on 6th Street, as you get closer to 22nd Avenue, the intersection is clear, and university officials are excited that it'll be ready for move-in day. After yesterday's special session, officials from South Dakota Game, Fish, and Parks are going around cutting these cables, turning this public notice into public access. 5 people have died in South Dakota since July 1st because they weren't wearing their seatbelt when they got in an accident. But Alexa says she'll always buckle up because it saved her life before. Not only do they have to fight the heat, but they have to do so wearing 25 to 30 pounds of gear, plus a 20-pound air tank. And depending on what gear they grab, their tools could add another 15 to 30 pounds. Buddy the turtle has traveled all the way across the state, but this little hitchhiker's journey isn't over yet. Jim McGregor is the owner of McGregor Livestock, a ranch that manages over 3,000 cattle. He says over time, his herd grew, and so did his need for workers.
I've been here since 1974. And as our business grew and as our business got larger, we needed employees.
For the last 15 years, McGregor has been hiring Hispanic workers. One of his employees, Manuel Mena, has been working for McGregor for nearly 10 years.
I came in 2008.
And how old were you then?
15.
When asked what brought him to South Dakota, Mena replied,
I don't know. I was looking for work and better life.
A move that could no longer be available for some still in his home country if the RAISE Act is put into law. After hearing about the president's latest stance on immigration, McGregor has some concerns on what President Trump defines as a skilled worker.
And the people who work in the other dairies and hog operations and feedlots, those people are skilled also. They are skilled. They're taking care of our nation's food supply.
McGregor says it's workers like Mena that make his operation possible.
My business would have to change. There is no way that I could operate with the amount of cattle and dairy cows and land that I have without these people.
And working with cattle is not a job that everyone is willing to take.
No, nobody want to do the jobs that we do.
In Salem, Spencer Schacht, KELOLAND News.
Mary Brownwin and her husband Doug retired to Arizona to live out their golden years. Only when Mary was diagnosed with breast cancer, she couldn't find the latest treatment there that she felt could save her life. So they returned home to Sioux Falls.
When you first hear that you have cancer, it's always devastating. It's never what you want to hear, and it sure wasn't on my bucket list.
Mary Bowden felt a lump under her right arm just before she was scheduled for her annual mammogram. That screening actually found 2 tumors, one larger than a ping pong ball.
It had only been 13 months since my last mammogram, so I wasn't that worried, but it tells you mammograms are very important and self-exams are important.
When Bowden asked her Arizona doctor to have the tumors genetically tested, he told her genetic testing was just a fad. So she came back to Sioux Falls to see Dr. Brian Leland Jones, who didn't object to the genetic testing.
If you were diagnosed with cancer, you must make your oncology sequence your tumoral genome, because that will transform the treatment of your disease and make it, God willing, curable.
Genome mapping allows researchers to identify mutations in a patient's DNA. From there, doctors can identify what treatments will work best.
So now we're tackling cancers much more from giving targeted therapies and immunotherapies, and we're reducing the amount of chemotherapy which we're giving.
Bowden's personalized treatment will include radiation next month. After that, she's looking forward to getting back to her bucket list.
I had the most amazing support crew. My husband and kids were with me every step of the way.
Bowden's treatment started back in November, and her latest tests show that she is now cancer-free, even though her treatment still continues.
Meet Buddy.
I thought, we need to find out, a little more about this turtle, and turns out it was a Blandings turtle, not native to South Dakota.
Blandings turtles are usually found in the sandhills of central Nebraska. Keyser is not sure how Buddy ended up in western South Dakota, but he has his theories.
It's likely that someone was coming up Highway 83 and could have adopted him as a pet and held him for a while. or maybe they just transplanted him to the pond there in Rapid City.
Buddy the turtle has traveled all the way across the state, but this little hitchhiker's journey isn't over yet.
So staff down at the University of South Dakota biology department, they're going to maintain Buddy and keep him as a teaching tool.
We'll use it in the teaching courses there, but also we do a fair amount of outreach events with local schools and Girl Scout groups and clubs that we can bring this turtle to.
When Davis first met Buddy, he was excited to see how much he came out of his shell.
So it's fun to have students sort of interact with a turtle that is actually wants to interact with them a little bit and isn't just shy.
Even though Buddy has only been in Sioux Falls for a short time, staff at the outdoor campus will miss him when he's gone.
Buddy probably does have a little story to tell. We don't know exactly how he came to be at our outdoor campus in Rapid City. Certainly, I think those of us who have been around him for the short time have enjoyed having him as a temporary resident.